We're live? All right. Welcome to Monday, June 30th, 2025 Selectmen Meeting. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first order of business is public input. We have no one from the public. Approval of minutes. We have two sets of minutes, 1.5 sets of minutes to go over from Monday, June 16th. We have the public minutes, and what started out as non-public became public quickly, so
Yep.
we've got both sets of minutes, and I had one correction on the third page, about 2/3 of the way down, to scratch out Union Wharf Road and put the bridge. Other than that, I'm all set with the minutes as written.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes as amended.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye. And do we want to vote on the non-public?
Well, I think what, it started out as non-public, but it quickly became public. And you can vote on them separately if you
I
want.
mean, it was captured in the context was captured in the minutes,
Correct.
so it's redundant. But since it's public record, I vote that a motion that we accept the minutes as written for the non-public session.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
And that's it. Do we have a non-public? So, there's a non-public folder.
It's a red one, isn't it, Bob? Or the blue one?
This is the minutes.
Shiny red.
Bottom.
Thank you.
Kinda red.
Shiny.
Oh,
We call it the
shiny.
shiny red folder. That sounds a pretty good description.
Glossy.
Classic.
So I'm gonna make a motion that we go into non-public under RSA 91A:3-2B, the hiring of any person as a public employee. Murray, yes?
Dauphin, yes.
Albee, yes.
All right, I'll make a motion that we come out of non-public.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Back to our regularly scheduled meeting.
Thanks, team.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Would you send Dennis in, please?
I will.
Thank you.
So you said Cobalt's a no for today, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Step right up.
Hey, guys.
Step right up.
Hello again. Come on up. You're up.
Yeah.
Come on up.
What? I thought there was a public thing he wanted to say.
I wanted to say something publicly,
Public? Okay.
public-wise. I'm just wondering what's going on Ledge Hill Road. I've seen they paving it.
Ah, yeah.
I'm
That's
sure
exactly what's happening. They cut out all those little squares that you see has been rock removal.
Yep.
And they patched those holes today.
hmm
And as far as I understand, the paving is gonna start Thursday.
They started putting pavement down in the dirt today. So when
That's what I said, they started
They're
those
paving the
patches.
whole road.
Yep,
Yes.
Well,
they're paving the whole road.
with that understanding, I wanted to bring it something that I experienced up with you guys, just because it's a safety concern. There was a lot of times, I'm sure you guys are all aware, the dirt got washed out
Yes,
every time it rained. And
police chief made us aware of that
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah.
in fact, one of the new officers, and I don't know his name, I wish I did. 'cause I'd
Shane
like to-
Emerson.
Shane.
He, awesome guy. He
Filled the
was down
holes.
there filling the holes. And I
Yes.
passed by and I made sure I stopped and said, you're doing what it took 3 guys to do, and I commend you huge. He's going with 5-gallon buckets to the town shed to
Yes.
get dirt.
Yep.
Great guy. My safety concern is this. I'm driving my bike, I was headed toward 171 from like this side. Everybody is all over the place to miss the holes. I'm on a motorcycle, I had someone pull right at me. They were looking at the holes, not the road. I went around them, they saw it the last second, they swerved back in. I can't be the only guy. I'm sure I'm not the only guy that's brought this up with you guys either. I don't know if there's a different way to approach that. I would just question that because it's been, what, over a month of having that, and I know I personally am swerving. I know the day that I saw the officer there, it was because somebody's tire blew out and got hauled away on a dump truck, tow truck.
Yeah.
I just want to bring it up. I'm not complaining. Things happen, and we got to do what we got to do to keep the roads going. But if there's a better way to do it,
Yeah, I mean, so Pine Mill is not done yet, but it's in process.
Base coat today.
Base coat today. Okay.
Mhm.
Ledge Hill's gonna. So with any luck, this will all be water under the proverbial bridge in
Yeah,
by the
2
weekend.
weeks.
Which is phenomenal. I'm talking moving forward.
Yeah, doing the process next
Doing
time.
the process
next time
in
you
a
do it.
different way.
Yeah,
I also
and-
have my son is 18 years old. He got a motorcycle for a graduation gift, and he usually rides right behind me in front of my father. When we go on rides, it'll be the three of us. And Seth was coming down the road. I went around one. The car was coming. He didn't feel safe swerving around. He went right into it, and I watched him lift right off his seat because he didn't have much option.
Yeah, and next year, I mean, there's going to be another road next year. So yes,
Of course.
learning from this experience is.
He's aware.
Is-
but
Food for thought. That's all.
Our road agent is aware,
Yeah.
but we'll make sure that he's doubly aware.
I would say.
And ask him to see if he can do anything to not repeat
Yeah.
this.
Fantastic.
We will pass that along. Thank you for
Come on,
speaking up.
Come on, so I can sit there. One item I want to talk about. Well, welcome to the summer, I guess. My first concern is the quality of the water. We did 3 weeks ago, had that advisory where they basically, say they're not recommending swimming, but obviously if you do, don't ingest it and stuff like that. I spoke today to the environmental services. They're gonna start putting other signs out, almost educating people, having them look at the water themselves and stuff like that. So they asked how many beaches we were in charge of, how many signs I would need. So not this Sunday, the Sunday before, I was with my grandson from Vermont. I took him in the water, and he's 4. He wanted to go out to the dock, and I'm saying, well, Dad, I don't know if I should do that, So we go out there, and he dives off the thing. But when we get home, crazy duck itch, Put him in the tub, empty the water again, put new water, So that's an issue. And then Sunday morning, I'm there waking the beach, and the guy comes over and starts talking to me, and he said, I'm 69, I've been here 69 years, and he's just so concerned with the quality of the water and how it's gone down, and he's blaming the rich houses with the fertilizer and all that. So I just know, in the big picture, well, we just keep going downhill with this, getting worse.
On a town level, there's nothing that we can do.
No, I know.
Absolutely nothing that we can do.
Was there testing by the state when you talked to them? Or is this cyanobacteria or what is it?
It's not to that point like it was last year.
Right.
Yeah.
Not yet, no. And I'm
Right.
sure with all the rain and everything else, it didn't help. But, like I say, I got the email today and I called her back, and she's going to drop signs off, more or less asking people to kind of monitor them themselves, kind of look at it.
I think that's the only thing that we as a town can do is make sure that,
Yeah.
that they're notified and educated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, eventually, if this keeps up, it's going to end up impacting the tourist industry.
Yeah.
Like if we keep going this way. As for solutions,
Yeah.
that's a what do you do?
We're
right?
we're actively monitoring 19 Mile Brook
Right.
for the that starts up
Right. So I mean, we know.
the rapid infiltration basin, Wolfboro Sewer
Yeah.
Department injects into the ground.
But we don't get those results until January.
April,
Well, April.
yeah, March or April.
And the idea of people self-monitoring the lake is ludicrous. What are they? They're not chemists. They don't know.
No, I
I mean,
know.
I suppose ducks are one thing, but any other chemical,
I mean-
how are they gonna figure it out?
I think that the cyanobacteria that happened last year piqued a lot of people's interest, and now they're looking for a problem. Does that make sense?
I've heard snails, I've heard fertilizer, I've heard all kinds of, blame.
I just think people are now amped up and are looking
Yeah,
for,
I think you're right.
for the problem. And hey, by the way, if your grandson got duck itch, then clearly, to a certain degree, it is a problem,
Yeah.
right? But
Well, we
again,
had
how
it
do you-
last year with the swim lessons too, so
Mhm.
Yeah.
a lot of people had the duck it.
Yeah.
But I mean, you gotta tell them, just dry them off, get them home, wash them up, and
Yeah.
we put cream on them and stuff. But yeah, he was fine after an hour or so. But anyway, let's go. Anything else more on that? I'm getting a lot of complaints on Melvin Wharf. I just think the rain we had, the gullies are bigger. Went to Audrey and she said that we probably need a permit to do anything. Spoke to a guy today and he said you gotta be 5 feet above the water, the land, before you can do anything. If you're 5 feet above the water, you can do something without a permit.
We are actively involved with an engineer
Okay.
now
Yeah,
to mitigate it, but that doesn't solve today.
No, it won't solve anything
Yeah.
this year, but.
okay, that was my, go
It's not
ahead.
gonna solve anything this year,
Yeah.
but we're working with an engineer, to rebuild essentially.
There's no Band-Aid we can do this year I'm just thinking these people had rented these places down there on this. I was down there today. I'm telling you, there's 25, 30 people. I wanted to take pictures, but there was so many people, I couldn't get, the pictures of the gullies or anything else, so. And I
Yeah.
didn't want to be snooping around
I'm
with
not
it.
sure, I'm not sure of the legalities of,
Well, we'd have to have an engineering plan.
dumping
In order
a
to-
truckload of gravel at the beach.
No.
Yeah.
Is there anything in place from the engineer to mitigate it happening in the future? Can we put some sort of a,
Well, that's part of,
That
that's part
is,
of the
yes.
discussion.
is there gonna be a drain across the
Yes.
That's
front
what-
and then it can drop? So that's what I
Whatever
mentioned to Dennis.
we've asked for something like that.
Yep.
A
Something,
resolution.
something
We-
to prevent the water from rolling down the road and washing the beach out. We wanted to divert it somehow.
Yeah, we had this conversation back in April, I think it was. I'm pretty sure we had a meeting with the engineer at the wharf discussing exactly the questions you're asking.
Yeah.
So yes,
So the goal will be next year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, yes.
we'll need a warrant for that, right?
Yes,
So
yeah. So
it's
in the works.
well known.
You can rake it out, but I don't think we can add anything to the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately
We
our
can't
hands are
just
tied for
Yeah.
the season.
We can't
Just because,
dump.
I mean, this is one of those cases where legalities actually prevent us from doing something that could be beneficial,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it is what it is.
okay.
I don't think there's any reason why you can't rake it out in the meantime.
Yeah,
I was hoping to put a channel across at the base of the tar, put some drainage pipe in, and let the water divert.
Yeah, the
If
problem
only-
with you can do self-help and there's nothing we can do about that.
Yeah.
But the problem with that fix is that you're just draining the silt into the lake and it has to be put into a settling
Settling
basin
tank.
of some sort.
Which,
Gotcha.
again,
and that's
all part
beyond
of
my knowledge.
It has to be
Oh,
captured.
it's all part of that project that we're
Yep.
hoping to get done.
Which that sounds outstanding that you
Yeah.
guys are actively working on it. So
Yeah.
We're working on that and the
Lake
one down on Lake Street,
yeah.
same thing.
So,
Cool.
okay. All
Yep.
right, that's good to know. Yeah, I'll just try to explain you to people, and I'll let them know. I called a couple of them back and they were glad I called them back, and said that, we're trying to.
It's in the chute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
and our hands, to a certain degree, our hands are tied by the environmental
Wackos.
the state environmental agency.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't budget for it. I mean, that's more to the problem. Huh? That wasn't on the warrant and it isn't in our operating budget this year. It
Not
will
this
be next year.
No, but it will be.
No, I feel a little bad that I probably should have been on this 3 months ago, but I know we had the terrible rain and
Well, we
down-
started talking about it last year.
Yeah.
And which is why
And
we
even
started
the wharf
in
is in a
April.
And that whole wooden end of the wharf needs to get
Yeah.
repaired. All the rocks need to be put back in place.
Yeah.
Very similar to what we did at 19 Mile Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or,
okay. All right, let's move on. There are no swim lessons this year. I'm sorry about that. Beach monitor started today, Nina, and there were good. I mean, it's hot out there. There was a good crowd at both
Yep.
beaches.
And no swim lessons because no instructor?
No instructor, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I know she got the, just one platform out there.
Well, again, I think with Zach, I said, you know, rather than putting Band-Aids and spending $700 for a pod or this and that,
Yeah.
we don't have a swim team, so we got 6 platforms, and he put the best pieces together to make 3.
Yeah.
We had a couple of complaints about not having the lines, but I mean, again, that might have to be a warrant. I mean, that's going to be a big bill if we ever, you know, decide to put new docks, you know.
Mhm.
But I got to credit him. I know how many times last year that I'd call you. It's tilted up, they're jumping on it, it's broke, this one broke again, and every time he'd be,
But there are lines in.
there
No
were
lines.
lines last year,
Just
yeah.
one
Swim
just-
lines.
No, not this year. Oh, the perimeter.
The perimeter,
Perimeters,
yes.
yeah. We used to do that 20 Mile and
But
Milton.
not the lines in between platforms.
Like a race type thing, yeah, you know, so. But Nina was good, my wife painted a nice sign, she puts it out, and, I said, any issues today? Well, you know, there was a dog, and the lady was nice, so, I mean, she's gonna do a good job, you met her.
At this point, at least I would think for the first few weeks are going to be education.
Yeah,
You know, getting people, and the problem with seasonal stuff like this is you get a constant rollover. So you almost spend the whole season educating, if you will.
Yeah.
And just so you know, I don't know if you watched last Selectmen's meeting from 2 weeks ago.
probably maybe a piece.
We,
I have an interest in myself.
we, we voted to prohibit trailer parking along the lakeside between the bridge and Bay Road.
You did?
Yeah,
So
just
you-
on the lakeside,
Yeah,
from the bridge to Bay Road, no
We can do that?
trailers. We did it.
The signs are
The signs aren't up yet.
Signs aren't up yet,
Okay.
but they're coming.
Oh, wow, awesome.
So that should open up
That should help.
Yeah.
parking.
So that may actually make things more like you may end up with more people now as a result,
Mm-hmm.
just because there'd be more parking.
I haven't noticed that people have been parking there, no, but they won't with the signs.
No, but you go
Will
there.
we enforce it, our police?
Yeah, you go there in the weekend and it's pickup trucks and trailers
Yeah,
lining both sides of the
Both
road.
sides, I've seen that many
Yeah.
times.
And on a busy weekend, people can't park out at the road because
yeah,
of all the trailers. They're supposed to park down in the trailer parking lot.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right. Oh, that's great, that's good news.
Trying.
So
Cornhole is Wednesday, it's week number 7, there's 2 more weeks, then we have playoffs, 10 teams, we've got a potluck, everyone brings food on the last night, July 9th, and then we have playoffs. And then the Monday and Tuesday in August, it's August 4th or 5th, we got our Winnie Cup. 3 years ago, Winnipesaukee, Wolfboro beat us. Last year we beat them, so our All-Stars are gonna be playing.
Okay.
Concert start this week, weather iffy, I heard PM showers, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Who knows, right?
Anything more than 2 days out.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, the Echo Tones open up, we got 9 of them this year. PTO has a bake sale, this Thursday. And then the football team has 2 dates where they're gonna try and raise a little money too for their things, so. The one issue I had a couple of complaints, actually from one of my commissioners. People wanna rent the pavilion sometimes for little birthday parties or graduation parties. So I've been doing that, but I said, really it's 11 to 2, 3 hours, cause I don't wanna turn people away. So you got 3 hours, you can get there in the morning, set up, 11 to 2, and it's been going fine. So a lady's been hounding me, so I says, well, it's 11 to 2. She goes, oh, I sent the invitations out already, it's 2 to 4. So I go down and change the signs, pavilion closed from 12 to 4. But, it wasn't fair to the other people, most of the tables are under the pavilion, and they had a nice party. It was kids graduated from Kingswood. And they were nice, but, we should probably put that in writing and just, these are our procedures and,
I'm open to discussion, but I'm not sure we should be renting out the pavilion.
Is
Well, I
there,
make sure they're touch-and-go people and I give it them for free. I don't charge them.
is There's
think
no
it's-
rent, I guess.
No, I think it's a public pavilion and it's kind
Yeah.
of first come, first served.
Yeah,
That's just my humble opinion. I don't know how you guys feel. If you're asking us for us to make a decision,
no, I just want to be aware of it, that, I mean, it'd be kind of hard if you've got 20 people having a party and then another old gang comes in with a, cooler and sits down right next to you, Kind of awkward, I think. And I do put a sign up, pavilion closed from 11 to 2, private party type thing, But it's something we should probably deal with and just have something written up and just say, here's the deal,
Yeah, I mean,
And I don't, it's just tough to grow people. We're trying to take care of our people, so that's what I've been doing.
Yeah,
I'm not sure we can,
I'm not ready to do that either.
no.
I mean, who makes the decision? You're calling the shots on that.
Yeah.
I mean, if 11 to 2, we're gonna eliminate the pavilion for the use of other people who don't have notification that there's something going on there.
It's a public beach.
Yeah, it's a public beach. I mean, I would sooner say, well, even that I don't think would work. If you wanted to set aside this space by the brook for a tent, if somebody wanted to bring a tent down and have a party. But I think people have just got to, I mean, if they show up and there's a bunch of people, I mean, I mentioned a graduation thing that happened. They just have to understand that it's a public pavilion.
Yeah.
If they want a private space, they need to go to the Tedeschi Center or wherever that
Yeah, I
They
don't
can-
know
they can
what they
rent
did in the
space.
past, or if they did anything like that, or I don't know.
I've never heard of it
Yeah,
being
yeah.
done. I'm sure people have had events,
Parties, yeah.
family events or whatever there,
Yeah,
but not on an official basis where we exclude everybody else. That's the,
Right, I don't think I can support that.
yeah. Yeah, and we're not renting it out, so we're not offsetting expenses through income. There's no.
it'll make my job easier. I mean, I'm down there in the morning, blowing the puddles and
Yeah.
blowing the sand, and
Yeah.
I mean, I think if somebody wanted to have an event down there after Labor Day, we might be able to accommodate something. But
yeah.
I mean, this is high season. You got how many people are down there today?
Like I say, Melbourne, there was probably 20 to 30 people, a quick head count, and
Yeah.
19 Mile was a good crowd.
I mean, if somebody wants to hog it up and use all the picnic tables and have a birthday party there, I think that they should absolutely be able to.
Yeah,
But it's first come, first serve. If someone else is using the picnic table that you want, sorry.
yeah.
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 It would, yeah. Like you said, make your life easier if you don't have to deal with that.
Yeah. Okay.
It would be sort of like
And just blame us.
it's sort of like
I will
okay,
believe
we
that, Jeff.
we have reserved seating for our concerts under the pavilion in case the weather changes. Really? Who are you reserving them for?
Yeah. All right, let's go on. The other stuff out, we got canoe, keelboat sailing, yoga, all this summer. I do want to talk a little bit about home days. First of all, how's the electric progress coming on Central Park? Because I got to advertise.
I got to call into Scott today. I haven't heard back from him.
Okay.
So I don't know what his schedule is going to be like because the electrical stuff, he's not really going to be doing much for
There?
for
that?
for the police station.
Not for a while.
Not for a while, right?
No.
So really, it'll kind of depend on him. When I hear back from him, I will let you know as soon as I find out.
Okay.
Because I would love for him to be done, this week or what, but I can't. It's all dependent on his schedule.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, to be honest with you, I'd like to have the town picnic there,
Mhm.
but I'm not going to pay a band and have the power keep cutting out and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, that was a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
We'll just,
So,
I'll
I
wait.
will-
I'll wait a little longer.
I'll tell you what. When I talk to Scott,
Yeah.
I will say we're hoping. What's the date on the old home day?
16th to the 27th.
16th to
Of
27th
July?
of August.
August.
So if you can have it done by the end of July?
Yeah, first week of August, latest.
Yeah.
Then that.
Well, if you
Okay.
say by
That
the-
gives me a target. That gives me something
Okay.
I can tell him. So
Alright.
I'll do that.
Okay. Audrey went to a training and we find out that we went to, I remembered we had the same issue before with the moon bounce. So I was dealing with two companies trying to get the best deal, and this is the bid here, and the other company come back and beat it, blah, blah, blah. So I finally got to the bid that had the lowest bid, and I says, we can't do it because of insurance. Then they sent me different forms saying we deal with this all the time, old home days in New Hampshire, and there's a way around it. So I don't know if all of you guys,
I sent it to Primex. I have not heard back.
okay, so
So
we
they're
got,
good.
So-
They're there too.
You'd have to have some form of self-insurance, or not self-insurance, but a third-party
It just happened
insurance.
when I was at that supervisor training at Primex. They said about a half a day was just insurance. And they said, for example, bouncy houses,
Right.
we do not insure them.
Right.
And
So
I-
we'd have to get another insurer, is essentially what.
Well, they have an insurance and a liability waiver, so I sent it to Primex.
So anybody that goes in, if the parents have, if kids go in, if the parents have to sign off that they're waiving the liability.
I think the insurance, it would be covered the way it was written.
Yeah?
they sent us 3 different forms. One was Plymouth, all New Hampshire
Yeah. the
towns that have the
towns
same
that-
issue, but they do it.
Yeah.
And we had 10 inflatables in a half arc circle, from a water slide to moon bounces to scavenger hunts, and it would be a nice kid event, you know.
Right. Oh, they love those things.
Yeah, so between the electric and that, I gotta find out because
Yeah.
whole home days is just kind of on
Yeah,
hold.
I will
Yeah.
try to press Scott on,
Okay.
on that.
All right. I mean, we do have the antique car show, we have an art show, the Methodist Church is back, we have a concert, Historical Society's back, town picnic. So that's all I have. The only, I wanted to just ask, and I asked Audrey to talk to you about it. It's a pain in the neck for me if I'm out and I don't have a town credit card. And I gotta hunt her down or Jack down, and it's a pain in the neck. And then sometimes I'll put it on my credit card, then I'll
And then
go-
get reimbursed, yeah.
Yeah, so,
I don't have a problem with it.
it's just,
I mean,
and not that I'm gonna go out, but a lot of times I'm at Walmart or
Right.
something, I think we need a basketball net or something.
Yeah.
You know, we just have to have a reasonable limit. You know, it can't just be an open-ended credit card.
$2,000, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, how much that van worth?
Yeah. It's the condo in the Bahamas that I'm worried about.
yeah.
Is that doable, Audrey?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. Is that something we?
Jack's the keeper of the credit card, so we'll ask him to give Dennis an application.
Okay.
So what do you think? 2,000, 1,000, 2,000?
Is 2,000 enough?
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with that. Do you need a vote?
No.
Okay. You guys good with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with
Yeah.
that.
that's all I have.
All right.
All right.
All right.
How's the sailing program going?
They got a lot, another trainer, they got 2 of them, so they expanded. And they're actually training on weekends now too, so.
So they're out
They
a
sent this
lot.
one guy to Cape for a training, and then he needed to get something from a lifeguard, so we called around trying to, like Belknap has 30 lifeguards. They have 100 staff, but 30 of them are lifeguards. They make their own, they train their own people. So I gave him Seth's number, and I gave him Sentinel's number, but you know, they seem organized. They, you know, it's not easy, I guess, to pass that class. They fail people. So. All right then, let's
you,
go
Jeremy.
clean that water.
All right. Yeah, keep it up. Filter it.
Audrey, what is the? Do you have Scott's cell number by any chance? I need.
I have that one phone number.
The only phone number I have is whatever was on the bid,
Yeah.
and that's it. Is that all I got? Okay. All right. Well, that is what it is.
Coming to concert? If it don't rain?
I don't know. Daughter's flying in from Florida,
Oh.
so I don't know where I'm going to be. So it's a definite maybe.
Yeah, I'm kind of like a definite maybe too. I want to go, but there's
Yeah.
one thing that could get in the way. But so
Yeah.
we'll see.
We put some money into our tractor, and I've been grooming the beach. It's like Hampton Beach. It's awesome.
Great.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate your work.
Thank you.
Was Fire coming in?
Yes.
Yep, he's right there.
Right there. Come on in, Chief.
Chief, I'm sorry it took so long. We had a lot of issues here.
Well, that doesn't give me the warm fuzzies because I left Scott a message to a voicemail that's just the standard, you know, the one that comes with your account. It's like, oh, that doesn't give me the warm fuzzies.
It's not that.
Yeah, so I'll have to be somewhat persistent.
Yeah, tell them that we have a need.
I will. Well, that's just the next time I leave a
How are you,
message,
sir?
I'll do that.
Good, how are you?
Good.
Hey, chief.
Hey, Chief.
How you doing?
Good, and you?
Good.
What exciting is happening in Tuckahoe?
Hopefully nothing as far as
I
on
didn't-
our end of
Yeah, I
things.
didn't see anything on the fire report that was.
There's nothing
Insane.
that is been insane as far as it goes. With the weather that we've been having every weekend, it's kept the fire danger down.
Oh, that's right.
It's kept people inside, you know, as far as different things. It's kept them off the lake in a lot of different cases. So
Some mutual aid, huh?
So we went, we've done some mutual aid as far as for building fires. We did have one cardiac arrest in town. And we did the mutual aid with the town of Moultonborough
For Roberts.
for Roberts.
Yeah.
And is the ambulance still down?
Ambulance is up. We did transport today from one of the camps
I
because
thought Stewart's had an ambulance down.
no, not that I know of right now.
With Stewart's out.
Stewart's the ambulance that they have in the Melvin Village area. We had some concerns about the unit itself, and they immediately took it out of service and replaced it with another rig.
So they replaced it.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have a new unit that is coming in to sit in that spot as far as it goes. But it needs to be outfitted with radios and things. So it'll be a little while before that is there.
So how come you had to do the transport instead of?
Today, because we have the capabilities of some pain control that they did not
couldn't
have. Which is called nitrous.
Mhm.
We have a certain amount of us that are trained to use nitrous as far as it
Right.
goes
And
instead
they
of
didn't have-
narcotics, and their people are not trained for that
Gotcha.
as far as, and they don't carry.
So it was all those Grateful Dead concerts you went to?
Yeah. But it works very well. It's
Good.
not habit forming, obviously, as far as it goes. So we brought the person into Huggins and went from there. Anytime that we find that we need to, or we have the personnel to do so, we will
Yeah,
transport.
yeah. No, I was just curious. It
Yeah.
was not a complaint, just curious.
No, not at all.
I'm not sure, I gotta ask the question.
Sure.
What's a petty restraint device?
A PD?
PD, PEDI?
So, PD restraint device.
Is that an acronym?
PD? It's
PEDI?
for a young, baby.
Pediatric.
or
Pediatric, okay,
yes.
that's,
And it's the only device that you can illegally attach to a pediatric patient and transport them on a stretcher, either with the parent.
that's to keep them from thrashing or?
If
Hurting
something
themselves
yes,
further.
if something happens to the ambulance, it gets in an
Yeah.
accident or something along that line, it's basically a a
Seatbelt.
yeah, seatbelt as far as the restraint. And it's kind of interesting. We have a certain amount of them that it goes by weight. But the state did just donate one to us that where we had the mother that was transported with the infant that was just born. We did not have a device to transport the baby with mom, and that unit came out, and the state had provided them to transport agencies. So we have that in place. We trained with that, along with some others that we have. Not just
At one point in time, our only way of transporting children was in a car seat type of thing. But now we have multiple different ways as far as doing that. So which is good. And to get everyone up to date on that is, it takes a little bit of time, obviously, and everyone goes through and does all of that stuff. So. One thing that I would like to go over with you as far as the camp inspections. We totaled 36 hours just to go through.
Is that 36 hours
That's
of
just
how many people?
2 people.
So you got 72,
72
hours.
hours. Yeah.
No, it's 36 hours, 2 people total.
Okay.
As far as
36
it
man
goes.
hours.
36 man hours.
Okay.
However, this does not include re-inspections of violations that we have to go back and complete reports on, each of the camps as far as it goes. It doesn't include computer time. That's just going
Just the
out
first,
to the camps,
first inspection.
documenting everything and going from there. I would recommend at some point in time that if we have to go back out and re-inspect the camps, that there be some type of fee put in place. I know that you're definitely for doing a fee right from the beginning.
I am.
So we just need to know where you want to begin with that. But I would recommend that we do a letter for all the camps. If we have to go back out and do a re-inspection, that there be some type of fee schedule for that re-inspection, because it is getting to the point of you may not be doing everything you need to do to make it right the first time.
So let me ask you this. Do they have, I'm assuming the answer is yes, but do they have all that they need to pass the inspection the first time?
They should, yes.
Okay.
I mean,
That would be my only
we
concern.
we do the inspections every year. It's the basically, unless something changes in the state laws,
Okay.
it's the same.
Okay.
But we're finding that detectors are missing, something that shouldn't be happening when we're out there inspecting at that point in time. Someone should have already gone through the different camps and different areas as far as it goes and replace batteries or detectors and things like that.
Okay.
The downside to doing it only if they fail the inspection and you have to go back out is the underlying premise of them that you're going to fail them so that you can collect a fee.
Right.
Better to just charge it right up front.
Well,
And if they fail it, then
Then there's another.
you can make an argument that it's the same reason. You can make the argument that even if you charge them the first time, they would fail you which we all know that that's not what would happen.
or you structure the fee so
But-
that you know they're going to fail a certain amount of times. I mean, Jack does that with his inspections.
Okay.
Here's the fee, this is what it costs, and I'm sure he's failed people on certain things, and they fix it, and he has to go back out. He doesn't get to charge him a second fee for going out.
Okay.
That's my only comment on that. I think charging just for
That I could see. That makes
charging for failure doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just ripe for problems.
Yeah.
Call it a cash grab.
Right. And we're not looking for a cash grab.
I mean,
we're not looking to have to keep going back.
no, it takes your time. And if it's black and white, there should be no reason there's a justification for having to go back out. If, for example, the fire alarm or the detector doesn't work,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's pretty defensible from a point of view of having to go back and charge them for that. So I guess I don't understand why. Is there something that's subjective that
No, in most cases, like as someone's going around with us,
yeah.
in some places, some camps, they'll bring spare batteries and stuff with them, and, replace it right there and then. Some are not, you might need a ladder, or it's gonna take a period of time.
Do you check expiration dates on detectors?
Yeah, it's something that,
I
after.
know you have to pull it down.
Yeah, a lot of times you have to pull them down. In most cases, we're not looking for the expiration date with the detectors, because they usually fail within whatever period. If they say 8 years, you can guarantee that they're going to fail right there and then. For especially carbon monoxide detectors and stuff like that. But some of the detectors are in such a height that you would need to carry a 8-foot ladder or more around with you. So we have a pole that obviously.
So are you doing inspections at Sandy Island as well?
Yeah, we inspect.
Okay, so how much boat time is involved in that?
So it's time to get out, time to get back with 2 people.
And that's in your 36 hours?
Yes.
Right, but the boat cost isn't the same as person cost.
Right. And then you get into a vehicle also, because we take a vehicle
Right.
to each of them. So that's all stuff that
Right.
we need to look at. And I know that where I brought this up, that you would want more information as far as
Yeah. How much time is involved?
everything altogether. So
Yeah, and list the camps. I mean, obviously some camps are bigger than other
Oh, yeah.
camps, so
Yeah.
we need to make
So
it.
that'll give you a general idea of.
Would you go out on somebody's boat if they offer to come and pick you up for an inspection? Or would you insist on going?
For the island, as far
Yeah.
as it goes, it's easier for us, because usually the 2 people that are working that day are the people that go out with the inspections. For this is not for house inspections and
No,
stuff like that.
what I'm getting at is if you have a higher fee for an island inspection,
Right.
they said, well, if I could save a few bucks and come pick you up, would you entertain that? That's what I was saying, would you entertain that?
I guess I would rather have our vehicle there with us,
Yeah,
in
I
case
mean,
we
I
have
know,
to go
I
to.
know,
carrying equipment, all
Right.
the rest of it.
so it's not an option, okay.
Right.
It wasn't a suggestion.
Oh, no.
That was a pure,
No.
That was a pure question.
Yeah. I know that Jack has gone out for inspections with, obviously, his is pretty cut and dry.
Yeah,
so-
but he's not gonna be called out for an emergency.
No.
Right.
It'd be pretty bad if we're out there, with the island, we didn't have the
Yeah.
equipment with us, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so if you're just looking at, for instance, Belknap is 3 hours spent, so a total of 6 hours.
If that's what it says off to the side.
Okay.
yes.
And then Mira Vista is 8 hours. Why was that more money than Belknap, or more time?
Probably
Is
just,
it more spread out? I don't know.
as far as Mara Vista is a pretty spread out area.
Yeah,
Belknap is,
Pretty
they're combining, compacting
Right.
everything. But Mara Vista has a lot of buildings and a lot of area.
yeah. So, what would that be? Yeah. So if a camp like Belknap, and we're being televised, so let them just yell and scream when they have heard this, but that would be like $900 for an inspection.
And to be clear, we're not trying to make money, we're just trying to cover the costs of the
Right,
fire department's
right.
time.
Sentinel would be 600, William Lawrence would be 600, Northwoods would be 600, but then Sandy Island, which is part of Northwoods, would be 1,050. I think that, I mean, personally, as far as Northwoods and Sandy Island concerned, I think that that's probably cheap. But that would be my take on what these numbers are telling us. You got 2 officers full-time, or working for these many hours, plus their equipment, plus their
Right.
vehicles.
And then they come back and.
And never mind your
enter
time in the
computer.
office,
Right.
doing the paperwork.
Yeah, we haven't gotten into the computer work and the
Yeah.
are there forms you have to fill out so
Yes.
that they can?
So,
Submit
so
them.
we issue, so basically, technically for this kids in the camp, we have to issue the CO for them to occupy
Right.
that.
But do you have to submit things to their insurance company, or do they do that?
No, that is all, the state requires us to inspect the camps.
And then do you
so-
have to report to the state?
That's all in our reporting system.
Okay.
Can I see that, Chip? Chip, can I see that?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
And, yeah, I support where you're going with this, because we see maybe 1 or 2 checks a year, payment in lieu of taxes.
Right.
If all of the camps gave us a pilot check,
I'd be fine.
this may not be an issue,
Right.
but they're not.
Right. Right. And one camp, namely Northwoods, is absolutely adamant that in lieu of doesn't mean in lieu of, it means something else. So it would put their tax exempt status at stake according to their Boston attorneys, which is totally ridiculous. But at any rate, so we're not getting any money from them, and we're spending $1,500 in our fire department's efforts to service their inspections so that they can collect their revenue and do their campers and do the rest of that stuff. I mean, I think it's absolutely defensible.
And fair.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as it stands right now, you and I and all the rest of the normal residents of the town are paying to have that done.
Yeah.
And it's something that the state requires.
Right. And they can go to the state and get rid of those requirements if they
Right.
want, but I think they'll find that their insurance premiums will go up more than the cost of their inspections would be.
Right.
But
And Pleasant Valley Camp is also falls under
where
The-
is Pleasant Valley?
it's part of the
Part- Part of Northwoods?
Northwoods.
Yeah.
It's the
It's
girls'
that.
side of
Okay.
the
yeah.
camp.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly less punitive than my initial position, which would be to declassify Northwoods Road into a Class 6 road. That would cost them a lot more money. If they had to do all the plowing, all the maintenance, all the upkeep on that whole road that we're doing currently with our road agent, because it's a Class 5 road.
Are there any private residences down there?
Not that I know of. I mean, there may be camp personnel that live down there all year, but I don't know that
Yeah,
they're.
there's 1 or 2 full-time camp people that
Right.
live in there, but there's no private residents in
Yeah.
Northwoods.
There's no shore frontage residence, for instance.
So why are we maintaining that road?
It's a Class 5 road.
To what point?
I
So
think past the stables
Yeah.
at least.
Okay.
I don't think it doesn't go all the way to the lake.
Right, I know that they keep that plowed out as
Yeah.
far as it goes, but.
We could ask the road agent, but I think it runs up to the stables there.
And is that the same way with Mara Vista and
Mara Vista's a Class 5 road,
into the,
and I'm less amenable to the notion of changing that because it does go across to
Yes.
the Class 6 road, which may in the future be a better route to Ossipee than Durgan Road. Just a thought.
Yeah.
And there are taxable properties on that side of Danhole Pond that are in Tuftonboro, but are on the Class 6 road. They're on the lake side of that
then we have to.
Class 6 road. And you have to go all the way around to,
Yeah, I
you
know.
know. So, I mean, from that standpoint, there are taxable properties who would benefit from a Class 5 road going through.
So with our mutual aid agreement with Center Ossipee, like medical calls and things like that, they cover the medical calls, unless we respond over
Right.
to the other side. Same with fire calls. Fire calls, will respond over, but it's a time period of.
Yeah, you
getting
lose the
there,
house before
obviously,
you
as
get
far as
there.
it goes. So Senator Rossby covers that area for us, and will come if needed, as far as it.
Another benefit of mutual aid.
Mm.
So can you get us the rest of the numbers for this so that we can really
Yeah.
come down to a figure? I mean, it's too late this year to charge anything, obviously.
Correct.
But I think we should put them on.
But I know
notice.
that in the past you pushed for numbers and things like that.
I have.
And
It's only been
every year.
It's only been a few years.
Oh.
I mean, I pushed to have every kid in town go to camp for free,
Yes.
but that hasn't happened either.
No. And if they're not giving us any payment in lieu of taxes, then it's just a gimme.
Right.
And that's not fair to.
It's not fair to the
Fair to
taxpayer.
the taxpayer.
Right.
Town.
So, a couple things that didn't make.
Thank
the,
you, Chief, by the way.
Thank you. A couple things that didn't make the update was the new hire starts tomorrow. And with that, we began this past weekend of having someone in-house on Saturdays from 7 to whatever time period. It's usually either 4:30 or 5, depending on if you're working a 10-hour day or 8-hour day.
Mhm.
And so that expands the coverage on the Saturdays. This week was Captain Morgan's weekend for being the officer on call, so he worked the Saturday as far as that goes. And by 8 a.m. he had at least 3 phone calls. He covered a call in the process and a couple other things. So it is beneficial to have someone in-house as far as.
And this is all part of the budget that you've had.
Yeah.
And so
Yes,
this
it
is
is.
all.
But it's also like a pilot thing, because we've really never had anyone work on Saturdays before.
Right.
So if Chris, Caleb, or Rafe work on Saturday, then they'll be off on the following Wednesday
Right.
to take that time period
Yeah.
out as far as it goes, unless they need to work overtime or something like that. I am also gonna fall into the shift just to take up some of the time to, obviously I'm salaried, so it doesn't matter. But when it's my weekend on call, I'm gonna try to work the Saturday unless I've got something else that is pressing as far as it goes, so that everyone's pulling their weight with the different things.
It's a good approach. Don't ask your people to do something you're not willing to do yourself.
Correct.
Lead from the front.
Yeah. Chris assisted with the PD today in filling the plumbing so that the code enforcement could do the pressure test
Thank you for doing
there. So that passed. So that's all set. We did wet it down one other time, and we're just waiting to hear from whoever's in charge if it needs to be done again. But it's been fairly rainy, so there
Yeah.
hasn't been a huge amount of dust going on.
Thank you.
That.
It's more for the compaction.
Yes. For the whole thing. So we're more than happy to do whatever we can do to help out. I know that when we went through the fire station, I saw all the different
Right.
areas that you need to keep up with. So it's just happy to see it happening for the police department. So any way that we can help, just let us know.
Thank you.
Do you have anything further for us?
I don't.
Awesome.
Is there no Island Day anymore?
Island?
Island Day?
Have you passed the fire station?
Are you talking about?
You're not
Oh,
talking.
you're not talking about the transfer station.
Not
Island.
trash.
No.
It's trash out.
Yeah, no, they haven't had anything.
Island meeting, we didn't have it
Yeah.
last year.
No, they haven't had it for a few years.
Yeah.
Ragged Island one. We go
Yeah.
to Ragged
Yeah.
Island.
No, we take you out whenever you're invited, but
It's the only boat ride I've got all year, so I'm kind of missing it.
I hear they're going to do it in the winter, so you might have to go out in the airboat.
That's okay. How's your airboat coming?
We've ordered it, so it's just a matter of
Whatever time
the
it takes.
time period that it takes to build it.
What did they say for turnaround?
Between 5 and 6 months, I suppose.
Oh, so we won't get it.
So it's not you know,
But we'll have
like
it
a
before
couple-
winter?
Yes. It's not a fire truck thing. It'll be here in 2.5 years.
Right.
And you.
But we're not,
But
we're not gonna
they don't pull it
chase
off the shelf
alligators
either.
with
No.
it this year, right?
No, it's custom. It's not something that's just pulled off the shelf.
Okay.
But
But we'll have it for the time period that we need it.
correct. Yep. And the other one will be in service anyways, as far
Well,
as that goes.
And no problems with boat one.
No, it's been we
Okay.
haven't had a lot of island things going on as far as it goes.
You had to ask.
But no real issues with that.
Cause I saw you had some issues with your trucks, but.
Yes. Oh yes. Trucks,
Batteries.
ambulance.
Backup cameras.
It got fried. It just somehow it got short circuited on the
So-
rescue.
It was just engine one on the batteries though, right?
Yeah, but it was all 6.
Yeah.
If we can get 13 years out of these new batteries, I'll be really
That's how
happy.
that's how much you got out of the first
Yes.
set. Wow.
We will have traded it in.
Yes.
Right, exactly.
I'm foreseeing that is never going to happen because we're getting about 2 years out of the ambulance batteries
Yeah.
and they're going kaput. So just because it's always charging, there's so much stuff that operates off of the batteries and
Right.
stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
they don't last, and the batteries aren't as good as how they used to be made.
Well, have you looked into the lithium batteries
For
to replace the lead acid batteries? They're
yeah,
a lot more expensive, but they last
whatever
a
length
lot
of time
longer.
Until they
until they burn out.
Yeah, they also catch fire too, so, right. Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, we have a fair amount of lithium batteries that we already have in tools and, the jaws and different things that are on the ambulance. We're right out there with, hopefully nothing happens, but every day is something that burns with
Lithium, I
batteries.
know.
Fair enough.
But yes,
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
I might not take that option.
No, that's not.
Have a nice evening.
You too. All right, our consent calendar has a couple of appointments in it. Appointing Lloyd Wood to the Lakes Region Planning Commission, Transportation Advisory Committee.
I'll
And-
second.
And appointment of Greg DeMarco as a member of the Tufton Conservation Commission.
I'll second that one too.
Okay, well then I'll preempt your second with a motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Action items.
Post game.
Post, the King, what's it called?
Boston Post.
Boston Post King,
Boston Postcard.
presentation. We are going to award, can I announce it?
Yeah.
Or should we wait?
No,
You
you
can
can
announce
announce
it.
it.
We're going to announce Fred Antel as the recipient of a Boston Post King. Fred Antel is, can I say his age?
I don't see why not.
Fred Antel is 101 years old. Young. 101 years young.
So do you need a motion for that?
No, I've asked Cammy for 3 or 4 times that the selectmen can go to his home to award it
And I'd be happy to.
because he can't come here.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to.
And we have the substitute cane.
Did you get a better quality one? No? Yeah, please. I saw the substitute one that we have and it's a piece of crap. I think we need a better one.
Fine. But we don't need to give away the real one.
No,
No, never.
no, but we
We
definitely.
had a devil of a time getting
we
it
definitely
back.
need a better one. You guys okay with spending a few dollars on getting a better
Yeah.
quality one?
Sure.
Thank you. And we also have the official warrant for unlicensed dogs. We have a list of,
How many?
16.
how
Ballpark.
many?
16.
1-6.
16. So please, if you're watching and your dog's not licensed, because dog police are gonna come looking for you. So I would make a motion that we turn this warrant for unlicensed dogs over to the police department for enforcement.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I don't know if I'm on that, but I don't. know. I'll look.
We'll read it later. Correspondence. We have an empty correspondence folder. And town administrator and selectmen's updates.
So on Thursday, I successfully completed the ARPA reporting for the money the, I guess, feds gave the different towns. It had to be reported against, so the ARPA funding should be closed. I'm working on the minutes for the police station. And related to the police station, there was a bid for the septic design in your signature folder, but it had gone out for 2 bids. So I reached out to construction management, Chris Garcia, and asked him, you know, have you reviewed these? Which one are you good with? And so he came back and said that he's takes no exception with the one from Folsom, and it would be his recommendation. So of course it's up to the board if you want to award that tonight. They're both very
And I don't, and my understanding from the Cooper Doc response is that it was not gonna be as timely as the Folsom one, as well as being a different price. I'm gonna make a motion that we award the septic redesign to Folsom Design Group.
I'll second this.
Any further discussion? I would add that Folsom Design Group's proposal is less expensive too.
Looks as good. And more timely? Is that the,
Yeah.
is my
Yeah.
understanding as well?
Would you modify your motion to include the dollar amount?
2,400.
All right, I'll modify my motion to award Folsom Design Group the redesign for the septic system for $2,400.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
And Chris Garcia couldn't make it tonight, so next Tuesday at 4 o'clock will be the work session, and it's gonna cover the framing bid, which you can take your time to review before the work session. And at that time, he'll also have reviewed the security further, because I sent that out to him electronically.
Good.
Okay, and then he'll give you a status. I did reach out to him about the site inspection today, and he is aware of that and working with them.
Okay.
Okay, so I think the police station's moving along nicely. I did request from the budget committee chairman to change it to a public hearing, the budget committee 19th. That's what legal recommended, make it a public hearing.
Okay.
So we'll do that.
Which means we set out an invitation, I guess.
We post it
Post it,
differently.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
post it a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All meetings like that are open to the public anyways.
They are,
It's just how
right. Yeah,
how we advertise it.
right.
Okay.
Makes it a little more legalese.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember, I've been busy in personally moving to a new home.
That's no excuse.
Are you aware that the transfer station building got hit by Waste Management pretty seriously last week?
No?
No.
Okay, so there was probably a dozen pictures that are sent off to Primex, and the Waste Management insurance people are coming to look at it.
It was the main building or
It
one
was
of
the
the
compactor
compactor
building.
buildings?
Yeah, so compared to last time when it got hit, it actually buckled the building, and Jack went out and did an inspection.
Okay. You're probably gonna see Chris before we do. Would you remind Chris that when things like this happen, that we really need to be notified?
Well, he did let Jack and I know right.
Sooner than later?
So, yeah, I'll take that on because I could have forwarded it to you, but yeah, I was like on it in insurance, he was on it in inspection, so, yeah,
Okay.
sorry I didn't pass it on, but. I did reach out to the state to get, to see what signs would be like for County Road, and I looked to see what maybe different towns do. County Road is not a Class 6 road, it's a Class 5 road.
When did that happen?
I don't know, but it's in the book. And it's not, there's a book in the selectman's office that lists all the roads and their classification. So part of it is actually a scenic road. So if the road has been maintained, if a Class 6 road has been maintained within the last 5 years, then it's not a Class 6 road anymore. And I talked to the road agent, and he grades it once a year and sometimes works on the ditches. So for the last 5 years, it has been maintained. So the signage is going to have to be different than you discussed at your last meeting.
In what way?
Well, we were gonna post it, you know, as a Class 6 road, pass at your own risk. We can't do that now. Because it is narrow, you could consider it making it one way, as you mentioned in the last meeting. Definitely put it down to the 25-mile-an-hour limit.
Or we could make it a Class 6 road.
That means he stops maintaining it and
I had no idea that he was maintaining it. This is the first time I've heard about this. I remember the storm where we did get some money from the state, I believe, because of flooding. But this annual
I think he
grading.
said that was 2008,
Yeah,
Mother's
something
Day
like that.
storm, and he's been maintaining it since then. And so I told him that you want to probably talk about to him about it at your next meeting.
Given that, at least going with one way because of the narrowness of the road gives
One
us,
way up or one way down.
I'm not sure. I'm
Yeah.
kind of, I have to rely on somebody else to make that decision, but
There's a lot more discussion that needs to
Yeah.
go into this.
I think
before
so too, because
before
I
we
think
change
that
classifications.
changing the road was not a movement by the selectmen. I know it
We
wasn't.
need to know more history.
So if the road agent's taken it upon himself to reclassify that road through maintenance, I think we need to have a discussion about that.
So
I mean, I don't
we'll
know-
put that on the agenda.
I don't know what the purpose of that would be. I mean, we can't classify it as a camp road like we had on Lion Pond Road.
There's no camps on it.
And, I mean, it's class 5 up to Joni Gales. It's always been class 5 up to there anyway.
Right, but it's also paved up to Joni Gales.
Right. I just think that we need to have a meeting about how we handle this.
I think we should continue with the signage, with the exception of Class 6.
The 25 miles an hour.
We can change the speed limit.
I mean, I wonder if it wasn't it wasn't through some sort of transportation convenience that all of this has transpired. That's what troubles me.
No, the speed limit has, the classification doesn't matter, it's just
Right,
whether it's
right.
dirt or paved.
But that's the signage you're talking about.
Well, you just showed some signage that you were concerned about, we can't put class 6 on it. You're right,
Right.
we can't put class 6 on it. But we don't have to put any classification.
We could put just not maintained by the town.
Well, no, because
No,
that's
because
not,
it
that's
is.
not truthful.
Right. Okay, so what do you want to put?
You could put seasonal on it, we don't have to, hopefully he's not plowing it.
No, he
No,
isn't, because
he's not.
he said he believed it was, like, one of the summer roads.
Well, take a look at Langs Pond Road. That's a seasonal road, and it says right on it, not maintained in the wintertime. I think it says not maintained
Is
in the
that
winter.
listed as a
No,
class
it's-
5 road,
It's a camp road, which is,
which is different than a class 5?
it's not a lot, it's different than a class 5, only in that it's not maintained in the wintertime.
Okay.
So it's
So then that sounds like it would be similar, or
well,
quite similar.
the, operationally it would be similar, although it doesn't have any camps on it, so it's tough to call it a camp road.
Right.
But Chip had thought we should, have the class 6 roads for several of the other class 6 in town, like Sandy Knoll, Willen, North Line.
We should have signage on those.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
and
It should be clearly labeled.
do you want me to wait to order anything until we talk
Well,
to the
we-
road agent? I'll do the 25 mile an hour.
15.
Yeah, I think it was 15.
We loaded to 15.
15?
I think
Okay.
you did.
Or
It's
is it
20,
20?
it's 25
I'll see you
according,
15, I'll give you 20.
it's 25 if you read our ordinances, because it's a dirt road.
Just looking for minutes.
No, it's 15.
15, okay,
We
my error.
voted on 15.
All right,
That's fast on it.
okay.
But now we're gonna have to patrol it. I mean, this, yeah.
There should be some other kind of warning sign.
Narrow road.
Narrow road,
Sure. Narrow,
soft shoulder.
Single track,
whatever. Pass at your own risk. That type of thing.
there's no passing. It's not wide enough.
Not passing.
Yeah.
Pass.
Drive through.
Transit.
Right. Use at your own risk.
Oh.
There needs to be something.
Okay. I'd like to request the selectmen to approve the installation of the lockbox for the taxes. I had approximately 10 to 12 people come in last Thursday, and we told them we weren't bonded, we couldn't accept their tax money if there was a drop box, which I purchased with their approval.
Do you accept money for any other purposes?
$1 here and $1 there for the stickers at the parking. So we never have more than like $100 in our
Does it?
petty
Does
cash.
anybody out there accept any other money for any other purpose?
Oh, the town clerk does, yeah.
Yeah.
Is she bonded?
Town clerk and tax collectors are bonded in the state of New Hampshire.
Is that the only reason? Talk us through this.
So
Talk us.
when I very first came, I went to NHMA's financial policies. And if you are not bonded, you should be not handling cash, and you should be able to follow cash all the way through. Like when the transfer station takes $5, there should be a process all the way through, and that's something we have to work on. And the money that we take in our office, we need to tighten up. You know, the the stickers, or the placards that they get, because the cash box that we do have, everyone in this building has access to it, and I'm uncomfortable with that, and it's not a good practice. So there's no process written down in how that's handled. When people come in to register their vehicle, they have to go to the town clerk because she takes the money. If they come in and she's not there, they don't hand us their registration with a check to give, even though you can mail it in nowadays. So when people come in with tax money, the tax collector only works 12 hours per week. And when Lisa's here, when the deputy tax clerk or town collector's here, they have access to the system. They can take it and they're bonded. So if that box of checks disappears, then there's a liability of bonding, whatever has to happen. I don't want my fingerprints on those checks. I don't want Cammy, because what happens is you take a check in, the phone rings, and then someone comes in, you go and talk to them. That check disappears. Where did it go? I don't want that liability. And I will continue on Thursdays to continue to turn the public away.
But Thursday she's not here.
No one's here.
So the hours are posted, the public shouldn't be here paying their tax bill on Thursdays,
But they're accustomed to doing so.
because they've always done it that way.
Correct. But if there's a box, we can say, oh, the tax collector, you can leave your money in there. And it's locked and secured. And frankly, I think that when the town clerk takes money, it should also go into a safe. And the other town I worked in, all checks at the end of the day, and I think you'd find this at a bank, go into a safe. They're not sitting in a shoebox on someone's desk.
But if someone comes in and drops money in that box with their tax bill and a check and an envelope, whatever, however they do it, it's still their word against the tax collectors that they paid.
Well, but you still have to have a cleared check, for example, to say that you actually paid your taxes.
Yeah, and if paid in cash, they just get a credit for the cash that's counted out of the box. I mean, I kind of agree with Audrey that there's no cash management in this place anyway, but
Well, they should be paying the tax bill with cash anyways.
Some do,
Some
in a
people
lot of
do.
towns. A lot of it.
That's a lot of money.
so
Oh,
you
yeah,
took, well,
there's mattresses
sometimes
everywhere.
it's a lot of money, but the only person opening the box now is Jackie Rollins,
Or,
Her deputy.
her
Deputy.
deputy, taking the cash out, counting it, hopefully putting it in the bank. But then either it's the right amount or it's not the right amount. If it's not the right amount, then they have to notify the taxpayer.
You know, if it comes in the US mail, that's mail fraud if someone opens that. And, those go into her mailbox. But people coming in and then those checks sitting on a desk is just really poor cash management. And I don't think Cammy or I should be involved in that process. Where a box of checks goes missing. Where were you? I didn't touch it. I don't accept taxes. Sorry.
well, nobody should be accepting taxes except the tax collector. That's why we have tax collectors' hours.
Today was a crazy flurry, and town clerk took most of them because they're due today. So, yeah, it was a little bit crazy.
But the tax collector was in today.
Not until 3 o'clock.
People should pay their tax bills on time. When the tax collector is here.
I mean, I'm not opposed to policy change. I guess I'd have to have a lot more discussion about boxes.
The box has been purchased, it's here.
Yeah, that doesn't mean it has to be installed. I mean, I can appreciate where Audrey's coming from,
Me too.
but our whole cash management system needs to be addressed.
Mhm.
And I think not accepting taxes by our office staff is perfectly appropriate. I mean, you shouldn't accept any taxes. You should send them away.
Right, and that's what I've been doing.
Come
Yeah.
back when the tax collector is here.
You need to you need to submit your taxes to the tax, or the assistant tax collector.
Or mail them in.
Or mail it. It's tough to mail cash, but yeah,
There shouldn't be mailing cash.
they shouldn't be, but people do. I mean, as far as we have a little more of an issue with the town clerk in that her policies and procedures are her own. She's an elected official, so it would be difficult to demand change. And it would have to be a negotiated change for that. But I don't think, there's not a safe here anyway, is there?
There is.
Is there?
Mhm.
So is she putting her cash in a safe?
I haven't delved into her
Is
cash
the
process.
tax collector
So-
putting cash in a safe?
No, they don't use the safe.
They put it right into the bank?
So let me say it back as I understand it. We have a box that we are not utilizing at this point.
Right.
We have people to come in and pay their taxes. However, if they do so at a time when the tax collector or the assistant isn't available, we turn them away because we don't have the staff that is bonded to make that happen. And it's a liability for you and anybody else who is not bonded to take that money.
Correct.
Correct? Okay. So, at this point, we are not, from what I'm understanding, at least you, Chip, say is we shouldn't be taking money after in that situation
Mhm.
because we don't have a box installed. Let's say we install the box. Who will have a key to it?
Jackie, the tax
Jackie,
collector.
and with the assistant
There's
as well.
two keys it came with, whatever she does with those keys.
But the understanding would be that her and her assistant would have the ability to empty that box and only them.
Mhm.
Well, we can make that happen. I mean, it's not a matter of Jackie deciding who has the keys. We decide that. It's a fixture, and we control the building fixtures. So if we only wanted Jackie to have a key
So-
and the assistant to have a key, then that's the way it's going
So it seems to me the decision that needs to be made is whether we install said
box.
or not.
But just to complicate things a little further,
Go on.
you said a few minutes ago that the town clerk has her own policies and procedures and ways of doing things. She's an elected official.
Mhm.
Our tax collector is an elected official. She has her own policies and procedures and ways of doing things. Yes, we're the selectmen, but do we involve ourselves in their policies and procedures?
For cash management, yes, you do. Because you have the overall fiduciary responsibility of the town.
So
Unless we exempt ourselves from that completely and say no one other than the tax collector can receive tax money.
So do we have the authority as a select board to install said box and give the keys to the tax collector to manage that? Do we have the authority to do that?
I'm gonna stick my neck out and say, yes, we do. However, I don't think we can compel her to use it. She could cover it up with a note and say, out of service. And not
At
use
which point we're back to where we are right
it.
now.
Exactly,
Of no tax monies coming in today.
exactly. We can install the box,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not sure that we can compel her to use it.
Has she said she doesn't want one? Is that my understanding?
She has only said she would not pay for it.
Okay. Okay, so, but that, That's all she said. She didn't say she wouldn't use it.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we got to coordinate with
The tax.
the tax collector
Right.
to find out. I mean, is that correct? Is it,
Mhm.
okay.
I had a brief discussion with her this afternoon. She basically said, if you want to install the box, install the box. But we did not have a discussion on policy
Using
and
it.
procedure
Okay.
of her using it.
So,
So I'm not opposed to installing the box.
Well, we're coming in here next Tuesday. Let's have her come in too. Let's make
Yeah.
it. Let's make it a real work
I
session.
was just thinking the same. You know, just
And we have to have buy-in by everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not going to
Yep.
work.
That's kind of where I was headed with that one. Yeah, let's get the buy-in. If she wants it, great, we put it in. If she doesn't, fine, we don't put it in, and we just go back to the policy of not collecting the money.
Yeah, let's just make that a policy from now until the box gets in. No tax money, no taxes received by our general office staff.
What about the deputy?
The deputy can receive them as her being a deputy over there in the clerk's office. That's fine. But I don't think she works over in Cammie's section other than when Jackie's there, does she?
Right, but
It's
but
at her.
I still have a concern that they're being left out in the open. I mean, I don't think you work at a bank, and I think if you go to almost any other town, the tax collector and town clerk are the ones who are behind locked doors. And,
Right.
you know, so, you know, frankly, we have to think about the building, and, cause that money should,
Well, I think we
even,
can,
even if she takes it over the counter, she should put it in a safe at night.
I think
So-
we can describe, I think we can live until next Tuesday and
Yeah.
solve all those problems.
Yeah,
I mean, it's,
but the money should be
Those-
put away at night.
disappearing tax money is less of a problem than,
If somebody's bonded and they're handling that money, that is on them and not on you.
Right.
So, if they're bonded,
Mhm.
leave it alone. Not your problem.
well, okay.
Well, you have a problem if it disappears.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have a problem with this.
It was accepted by somebody who.
Okay, he's
But-
bonded, but, and then they mislaid it. They're not gonna sue, or the bond company's not gonna cover that kind of activity. They're gonna look at the town for redress. And
Why do we have bonding? If that's the
Well,
case.
So,
the bonding company presumes that you have policies and procedures in place so that bad things don't happen. If you don't, I mean, we don't have a codified cash management plan that I've been asking for the last 9 years.
Okay, I
And
guess.
unless we have that,
Okay.
then there's the opportunity for the bonding company to say, you guys,
Wow.
you just
Okay.
do loose.
I don't understand. I clearly don't understand, because if those people, if it's in their job to handle money, and they don't handle it properly, that's on them. But I don't understand that. So okay.
yeah, it is on them if we've got policies and procedures in place. And and we really don't. I mean, we could
yeah.
stand up and yell and beat our chest and say we do,
Okay.
but
It's just
if we have policies and
clearly I'm
procedures
making.
in place and then they lose the money or
Right.
misplace it, then it's on them.
Yeah.
That's
Clearly
it.
I'm making assumptions that I shouldn't be making. I understand that now.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Yeah, and I just think it's, you know, if a box of checks, tax payments was to disappear, then I think the citizens would make it right, you know, but you could potentially be out tax dollars, you know, trying to chase them down to resubmit their money.
So we're making this part of the work session next week?
Okay, so I will have the police station closer to 4:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be 4 o'clock on the
Yeah.
work session?
Yeah.
Let's give 30 minutes to this discussion, because I feel it's gonna take all of that.
Okay. Yeah, in that same vein, I wanna look at getting us a cash register. They're between $300 and $500, because we have petty cash in our office that has like $100 in it. But since everyone has access, they'll come over and cash it, change a $100 bill. And then we don't have change, or unaware. And, you know, or Jack might have to make change for one of his permits.
Mhm.
And so having 4 people have access to that box that should be just Cammy and I isn't good. But,
How
and
does the
we,
register solve that?
well, they're keyed, they're locked. And then also, you can code in what it is. So, oh, it's a beach sticker. You know, you put in your $1, hit number 2, and then when it shoots it out, you should have X amount of money for beach stickers.
So how is that, so
So,
what you're saying is it will prevent somebody from changing a $100 bill?
well, if they could come to Cammy or I and say, do you have change for 100? And we can open the cash register and say, yeah. Or we can say, you know, it
Goes
really
like
does.
So this goes right along with the cash management policy?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
So, you say you can lock the cash register, you don't lock the cash box?
No, they're not locked here.
It's only $100, Bob.
Right.
Yeah, but still, it's principle.
Of course it
And
is.
we have police with us right now. We won't in a few
So,
months.
yes, so this needs to get added to the discussion next week.
Yeah, this is outside of the tax collector, but yeah.
I don't have any problem with the cash register, as long as there's a procedure in place.
Okay. All
What
right.
about you guys?
Yeah, I'm fine. I mean, the cash management goes beyond all that, though.
Oh, yeah. In the class, they started with, you go to the transfer station, you give them $1, track it all the way through your procedure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Who takes it to the bank, who writes up the
Yeah.
deposit
So I
ticket.
have no problem with you getting a cash register as long as you have a procedure in place.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
And before we meet on Tuesday, call
My time.
Municipal Association or Primex or somebody and get an example of a good cash management system.
Okay, we do have one drafted.
But let's compare it to what the world says.
Yeah, I would like to see. Yeah, I will.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right.
I'll work on the
Selectmen's updates?
As you heard earlier, I'm working on getting the electrical to the Central Park.
Yep.
And to be continued once I hear from Scott. That's it.
Probably every other day at the police station, just checking on progress. It seems to be working out. Jory knows that we need some grading done. His paving company, which he has in his site work bid, says we need to get it paid before the 1st of October, by the 1st of October, so that it all sets up right. So we need a lot more fill in there and some compaction, etc. I did walk around, and over the weekend I thought about this, that the only possible place for an expansion is at the garage. We're too close to the lot next door to put any reasonable expansion on. We have all of this stuff around a septic system, a propane tank, oil separation tank, a generator, a well, and a parking lot. The only possible way to put an addition on that building is going to be where the garage is, going out. And you can do more offices and more garages, or you can, but if you wanted to change anything someday in the future, that's the place that'll change. So I'd like to suggest that we include radiant in that floor. Even if we never hook it up, it's
Just put the pipe in the
put the
concrete.
pipe in the floor. That way, if it 20 years from now they decide they needed more office space, so they have more officers or whatever,
Mhm.
it's a simple matter of just building petitions and turning the heat on.
This is gonna be a change order.
Absolutely,
Okay.
yeah.
I know.
But I don't know what I mean, you know more about putting pipe on
Yeah,
steel than I
it's not a
do.
big area. It might be a couple $1,000s at
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
But it's money well spent.
And I know the guy's coming in next week, because it'll be ready for him, and I'd like to, it's just a suggestion of mine.
I support it.
It seems like a reasonable.
Okay.
It's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, because you can't go up because there's trusses.
No.
And, yeah, it just
No.
makes sense to me.
No, I support it.
So I'm gonna make a motion for a change order to the HVAC.
Let's not make a motion until we have a dollar value.
Okay. So
See
who's
if we
gonna
can get
handle
that.
getting that?
Before Tuesday,
Chris?
is that all possible? I suppose.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
Yeah,
just a
right,
phone call.
to read, right,
Yeah.
the other ones, okay.
Yeah, do you want
Okay,
me to reach out to him, or
good.
do you want me to?
Yeah, I'll copy you. But,
You reach out to him?
yeah.
Okay.
And I guess I'll just restate my position on committee members from any committee other than the planning board calling our attorney. I'm against it. They don't have a legal budget, we do. Planning board has a legal budget. If the budget committee seems to think they want a legal budget, then they need to put it in their budget line. All of the information that our attorneys give us is for our purposes. We can share all of it, or we can share none of it. But that's the way the system works. If you start pushing it out so that anybody that works on any committee in town can call our attorney, one, our legal bill's gonna go out of sight, and two, you're gonna run into the same situation that we ran into with the Department of Agriculture phone call. When we do phone calls and talk to the Department of Agriculture or anybody like that, it's a Zoom call. Or people on this end of the call hear the same thing. We may interpret it a little differently, but we hear the same thing. When it's a one-on-one phone call, that's just hearsay. That has no value whatsoever. And we could get a report back from our attorney about a phone call. We could hear different evidence from whoever was on the other end of that phone call. So it becomes really unworkable if we have that going on. So I think we're better, my personal opinion is we collect information from our attorney. It's in her office. If somebody wants to see it that's on a committee, they can ask her for it. If she feels uncomfortable with it, we can vote on it. I don't have a problem with giving them anything.
No, there's a proper,
It's just a
proper chain.
it's like a chain of command,
Yes.
so to speak.
Yes.
Right, that's all. And when someone else is a selectman, they're gonna appreciate that I defended the selectman's office, believe it or not.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
No other business?
And our work session is at 4:00 on next Tuesday.
Yes.
4:00.
Unless I hear otherwise, it's on my calendar.
4:30 with the construction
Chris.
management with Chris.
Right. And do we want Jory here for any reason? We're not doing a contractor meeting.
No.
I'm thinking we may not.
So, I mean, we don't need Bubba.
No, I don't think so, because we're gonna be discussing contracts.
Yeah, Good.
I don't think
Yeah.
so.
fine. I think that's right.
All right.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll say.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The office is closed Friday.
Office is closed for 4th of July.